When I started to run for office, I wanted to focus on areas that had been long-standing problems. And for me, that's been the areas of sexual abuse, child abuse, domestic violence. And we've been making some progress there that I'm really excited about with our Aaron's Law and Breeze Law. We now have that implemented, and over 100,000 Alaskan youth are getting personal body safety information. We passed rape kit reform this year, and that's going to lead to the testing of the 3,400 untested rape kits. And I think that could lead to getting dangerous criminals off of our street and giving victims the justice they deserve. So I feel like there's some unfinished work there that I want to continue working on. And these are issues, of course, that are in the news right now and very important, and so many women are speaking out, and it's time that we really made some concrete steps to change that, and I really feel passionate about working on that. I think economic justice is the issue of our time. I represent the poorest district in Anchorage, and people really live on the edge. And it's not because they're not working hard, it's because wages have not kept up with inflation, wages have not kept up with healthcare, wages have not kept up with housing. And I feel very passionate about this. And for me, at this point, it's only acceptable if the people get to vote on it and it's part of a larger fiscal plan, because what I saw happen in Juneau, the way I see it is going to the permanent fund was always the easy option because you had that pot of money sitting there. What is going to be the hard work is a sustainable long-term fiscal plan, and I feel that is the only path forward so that we have some stability in our economy and that businesses want to invest and people want to stay. And I just do not believe in balancing a budget on the backs of the poorest, the most vulnerable, seniors and veterans. It's just fundamentally the wrong thing for me. So. I had led the charge on oil tax reform in my role as co-chair of the House Resources Committee. I wanted to bring a conversation to the table. I thought we could learn from some of our past mistakes and try to remove any of the blame and some of the partisanship. I don't feel I was as successful as I would have liked to have been in that endeavor, but we did end the cash credit program, and that saved the state hundreds of millions of dollars at this point. So I feel really proud of that, but I think there's unfinished work. We currently, under some circumstances, have the lowest oil tax that we've had in the history of our state. And I don't think it could solve all of our budget problems, but I think there's a modest adjustment that needs to be made there so it's more in line with what we've gotten historically and what makes sense, what really is a fair share that keeps us competitive. So I'd like to see some additional work done there. We need to look at some of the other revenue streams. Of course, at the city level, they looked at a gas tax, so that took that off the table at the state level. But for example, this year we have the marijuana tax money, and we took some of that to put it into prevention and education programs that I think could be very impactful and positive for our area. So I think we just need to be very committed to ideas. And if there's some disappointment, I would say, is not having enough of those conversations. I'm open to hearing ideas, but we got to get down there and do the hard work and get the job done. This is something I've been working on going back to 2010 when I was an officer for my community council, and we started to see an uptick in crime then. We were working with APD. We had been told that there wasn't an uptick because they didn't see enough reports. So then we did a special mailing about online reporting, and we did a crime survey, and so on and on. We've been working on several years looking at, you know, how do we fix these problems? And it's come back to some of the same issues over and over. Substance abuse, we see that now with the opioid crisis, so much fueled by alcohol abuse, domestic violence, the interpersonal family violence. So much of that is fueling our crime. And we know, and I just say this every chance I get, that prevention is the most cost-effective way to spend our state dollars. So, you know, early intervention, investing in our youth, that is really a crime prevention program. And I hope that we can have that more holistic and comprehensive view as we go forward, because in my area, if you're a kid between the ages of 12 to 18, there really aren't many activities for you. And so, you know, what does that leave? That leaves a lot of time to get into something that's something we don't want them to do. And so, you know, let's make that investment in our youth and make sure that we give them a path of opportunity. And I think that is truly crime prevention. So that area, as well as more on the substance use treatment side and supportive services, it's going to take that kind of long-term investment to help people get, you know, back on that path. Lately, I would say that's been among the top issues, crime and public education. When you look at my area, it's the youngest area in our city. We have 5 elementary schools, and a lot of families, foundational is the future for their children, and they want to know that their kids are going to get a solid public education. It makes a big difference in an area that's lower income because we know that public education is the great equalizer, and so we have to make sure they have a safe place to live, a safe community, and a strong education system so they have opportunity. This is something we've worked on a lot, and I'm leaning towards supporting ballot measure 1. I think I will in the end vote for it. I was disappointed though that the legislature didn't take action to address that matter. We could have, I think, moved forward a little more quickly, and we didn't. So I'm going to keep working on it. The legislature, we'll see what happens at the ballot.